Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Pastor Andrew coming at you with another weekly vlog. We're gonna go ahead. We're shooting it actually at my house this week instead of shooting it in my office. Decided to switch things up. It's crazy to think about that we are now hitting week 8 of this coronavirus scare, and it's crazy to think that we haven't had church in 8 weeks this coming Sunday. We've missed Easter and Good Friday and just all of that stuff that's just kind of really big in the life of our church right now. But you know, as I've been kind of pondering about what to talk about, you can only talk about the coronavirus so much, but one of the things that I think is so important to do. I remember when all of this stuff started here about 8 weeks ago, I would not stop watching the news, watching TV, starting to get a lot of these doomsday thoughts. What am I going to do? Do I have enough food? Do I have enough toilet paper? Do I have, everything in order in case I needed to leave town and get my family somewhere safe? And just, again, just watching the news 24/7, getting an instant, when I get a notification that we're going to get a news conference from the governor, from the president, or the CDC, or something like that. And I just had to watch all of that stuff live, and honestly, just being afraid and being scared, and not really understanding what's going on. Or is this something that we're going to beat? This virus that they're talking about, is it as serious? And just really giving in to fear and just getting anxious and allowing, honestly, my anxiety to get in. And I don't know about any of you that watch this or even do watch these. I've really, on a personal level, been struggling with depression in the last week or two. Life as I know it's different, being the bubbly extrovert that I am, and I recharge off of being around people, and that's just something I'm not able to do right now. And just surrounded with so much doom and gloom and so much uncertainty, and not having that ability to recharge, and just really struggle with trying to find meaning. And I don't know if anybody can relate to that and can feel that on a personal level, but I just want to encourage you. Something that I'm really trying to do in my personal life right now is to not give in to fear, and to just know that it's going to be okay. That life is going to return, that we are someday going to be able to go out to our favorite restaurants again, that we are going to get to see our friends again, that we are going to be able to go to the grocery store, not have to follow the one ways down the grocery store aisle, and not have to worry about having an N95 mask and gloves, and just living in this constant fear that we might get this virus. you know and as again, as we enter week 8 of all of this junk, I just really want to encourage you this week that we are going to get through it. One of the big things that I think as a culture we have a hard time accepting, even in the church itself, is knowing that God's going to be glorified. That God is going to seek some glory in some way, shape, or form, even if we don't really understand or comprehend how or why, or how God can be glorified in suffering. And it's crazy though, when we study and read our Bibles, we see that in action. We get to see something that is so cool, that we do have God's word, that we are able to see somebody in a position that they're in, and that they are put in these doom and gloom situations, and it's like, oh no, we're not going to get anything out of it, and it's going to be all bad. But then we're at the advantage that we get to see the ending. We get to say, hey, they're going to suffer, they're going to go through a hard time, but their perseverance is going to pay off. But even deeper than that, that not only are our hard work and perseverance going to pay off, but ultimately God's going to be glorified. I saw an interesting picture on Facebook this week, and it was an image of God and the devil talking, and the devil says, haha, I've won, I've closed all the churches in the world. And the image that represents God, and it says, no, I've actually opened up a church in every home. You know, One of the big things I think that I've learned over the last few weeks and few months, that we can close our churches. We can close our establishments. We can close up these places. But that doesn't mean that we have to end society, that we can't end what we cherish. We can't end fellowship. That just because our church doors are closed doesn't mean that we can't still fellowship as believers. I encourage you to continue to be involved in your church family. And if you're not involved in a church family, I encourage you to get involved in a local church. If you're in the Kansas City area, I'd love for you guys to come and check out Northwest Bible Church. But if you're not even in the Kansas City areas, get plugged in somewhere. And honestly, even if you are in the Kansas City area, get involved in a church. Surround yourself with believers, because that's the one thing is, we can get involved in a church, and that's cool. We get to go to a building and get to worship, and we get to listen to a cool sermon every week, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than just a building. It's a community that we have other believers to lift ourselves up, that when we are facing hard times, that we can find other people to lift us up. And for me, being that extrovert, being that person that likes being around people, I've struggled with that. I really struggled to find meaning, to really find a way to continue connecting with people and doing the best I can. And I think we all are. So as we end week 7, going into week 8 of the mandatory lockdown, I want to encourage you. No matter how bad it gets, we're gonna get through it. We are gonna see a light at the end of the tunnel. God is gonna be glorified. And even take it a little bit to the extreme, if we're Christians, this world is the worst it's going to get for us. Darn, we die and we get to go to heaven and see Jesus a little bit early. Darn. One of the big things, watching the news, one of the big things they post every week and every day and every hour, if you struggle with depression right now, reach out, talk to somebody. It's a very real thing, especially right now, having to struggle with self-worth, struggle with meaning, for those essential workers out there, being to a nurse, right now she's at work right now and having to be in those scenarios and situations, being surrounded with people that are sick and she might catch that. How scary that is for you essential workers. And for you non-essential workers, you people working from home, that's the boat that I'm in. Still trying to find meaning, still trying to make an impact and make a difference. We're almost through this, folks. I know that we can make it. I'd love to talk to you if there's anything anybody out there wants to talk about. Reach out to us. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. I hope you guys are having a great week, and hope to see you again next week.